So there was this woman I made a video about the other day who had the bright idea that all men should actually pay an increased amount of taxes if they're single over the age of 30. And it was some feminist misandrist chick named Jessica Pinn, woman's sexual health advocate. And I talked about how that's obviously a horrible idea and it wouldn't actually work and it would only stew resentment in men towards women. But Jessica here decided that she's got one more in her. She's not done. She wanted to come back with another terrible take. A Cole post so bad you would think it's rage bait, but unfortunately she actually believes this. Her tweet says, lying to get sex is rape. Misrepresenting intentions to get sex is rape. Men who think this is normal or typical male behavior are fucked in the head. So according to Jessica here, if you misrepresent your intentions, you're actually raping a woman. So if she consented thinking that you were going to date her after having sex, but then you're like, no, I don't want to date you, that's actually rape. Yeah, the consent that was there before, yeah, that's not consent anymore. It's actually rape because you lied about what you wanted, which is a pretty funny take to me because it's definitely rooted in a female experience where she tries to date some guy that's out of her league and then she tries to get him in with sex. So that guy's willing to have sex with her, but he doesn't really want her. He doesn't really want to date her, doesn't really want to marry her or anything like that. So he's willing to have sex with the girl because guys like to have sex, but then after that, she can't keep him there. She can't really actually make him get into a relationship with her. And she's left feeling hurt that, he got what he wanted, but she didn't get what she wanted. Apparently, this is a very common experience with women, right? They want the guys to commit, and the guys aren't going to commit. And maybe it's because it's a guy that just is genuinely not interested in her, really, maybe out of her league. But with a lot of men, the standards are different when it comes to having sex with a girl versus getting into a relationship with a girl. There are a lot of guys out there that are fine with having casual sex, and they don't want to actually get into a relationship, whether it's because of the personality of the girl or time. They don't want to have to, go on a bunch of dates and spend a bunch of money, or ironically enough, because of the girl's looks. There's just a different standard when it comes to sex. But to call it rape when a guy doesn't want to commit to you but still has consensual sex with you is insane. And it just shows how dumb this woman in particular is, Jessica Pinn, trying to assert a very serious crime, forcefully having sex with somebody that doesn't want it. She's trying to equate that with a guy just misrepresenting his intentions, which a lot of times in those cases, it's really just wishful thinking by the woman who are trying to get a guy in with sex that he's going to commit afterwards. It's not as if all these guys are lying and being like, yeah, I really want to be with you, and saying all of that stuff just in order to get sex. I mean, some of them are, but a lot aren't. It's just wishful thinking and a woman trying to use what she has in order to get that guy to commit, and then he doesn't. And again, even when the guys do purposefully misrepresent their intentions and pretend that they want to commit to the woman, that does not mean that the consensual sex that the two of them had is suddenly non-consensual after the fact and that the woman got raped because the man wouldn't commit to her. This level of mental gymnastics to try to demonize men as much as possible is actually insane, and I really feel bad for any woman who's genuinely taking this woman's advice and her takes seriously, considering that Jessica Pinn is the quintessential example of a spiteful middle-aged hag that probably has a bunch of cats, hates men for some reason, and uses her own anecdotal experiences to demonize men as if they're a monolith. She's not helping herself or any women that actually decide to listen to her get into a better position. The good thing is, though, is that a lot of people really don't seem to agree with this level of brazen gender war debate. There's still a lot of gender conflict terrible takes out there that are getting posted, but the most obscene ones, like this one, trying to equate sexual assaults and rape with misrepresenting your intentions, which of course minimizes what actual victims have gone through. People aren't really stepping in to defend Jessica Pinn's side here, and she's getting brutally ratioed every time she tries to defend her comments. Yeah, neither of these are rape unless the lie prevents one party or other to give consent. You can go home and look at yourself and accept you're a loser, though. And she responds with, consent based on lies is not consent. What, is lying to get a man into a relationship kidnapping then? Lying to get people to move from one place to another has been tried as kidnapping, actually. Completely dodging the question. And then this was a good one. Women lie about themselves and their intentions as much or more. Does this go both ways? And she responds with, when do women ever lie about intentions? When do women lie about their intentions? Except for all the time. And I'm not saying that men do not lie about their intentions a lot. But when women go on a date with a guy, and that guy might be someone that they're not interested in at all, they don't really have an attraction to this guy, but that woman is going to to let that man take her to a restaurant, maybe an expensive restaurant, and let him pay for both of their dinners and then not give him what he was obviously looking for afterwards, that is misrepresenting your intentions. And then you'll see it all the time. They try to get online and like scold men for expecting something when these guys like get dressed, drive the woman around, go to an expensive restaurant, pay for like tickets to movies and stuff like that. If they go to an amusement park, like wherever they decide to go, the man is supposed to pay for all of that stuff. And somebody might say to that, well, the person who's inviting the other one out is the person who should pay for everything, right? Because you shouldn't be inviting somebody out and making them pay for stuff. But I would say to that obviously 99% of the time, there's not women inviting men out, it is men inviting women out. The men are the ones that are initiating everything when it comes to courtship, and that's kind of just how it's always been. Even in this new age of feminism, that's not one of those gender roles that women seem to want to be removed. They're perfectly fine with men having to pay for everything and men being the ones that go up to them and ask them out. And again, I'm not saying that this is some terrible thing. These are gender roles, something that belong in society, and stupid people forgot why they existed and why we have these traditions for thousands of years, and they said, what if we just did away with them? And now we're seeing exactly what happens when you tried to do away with them. You have men that are more recluse, dating less, getting married less, even meeting people and having friends less, which leads to the male loneliness epidemic, a phrase that is commonly used to just bash on men for how terrible they are, but it's a real thing, and a lot of men are lonelier than their previous generations, their fathers, their grandfathers, and there are social factors there contributing to this, but economic ones as well. I'm sure that there are a lot of men that want to get a girlfriend, want to get married, want to buy a house and start a family that are having difficulties doing any of these things. For a lot of you guys out there, your grandfather probably bought his first home in the 50s for like $8,000, which is what, like $90,000, $100,000 in today's money? Probably married in his early 20s to a beautiful woman and wasn't competing with a bunch of rich lifestyle Instagram crypto bros. And he had a job, which the income from that job allowed him to take care of himself, his wife, and his kids, as well as pay the mortgage and have a car, which is a position that is a lot more favorable than a lot of young men today, only for men today to be more demonized than like any past generation by this new age of feminists that genuinely you can tell by these messages just hate men, hate masculinity, and think that the way that you operate is faulty. Just by you existing, you're likely to go and do something horrible. You're likely to commit acts of violence, sexual assaults of women. Oh, you're lonely? You actually deserve to be there. Better sign this contract and get it looked over by a lawyer before you have sex, or who knows, she might come around after the fact and say that it was rape. Men are dealing with their purchasing power being less while things get more expensive and having to live with their parents later because it's impossible to afford a house. This is what young men are going through, and it's not really making them attractive prospects for a woman. Even though they probably do want to start a family, they're not able to. And all of this feminist and misandrous bullshit, which is just demonization of men, is not helping anything either. If anything, only stewing a lot of resentment where it wouldn't naturally be there. And that's what I don't like about accounts like this. Like, the entire message is just hate men, men are bad, and you shouldn't like him. Like, you really shouldn't like him. They're bad people. And we need a lot less of that and a lot more of relationships being formed and families being started. I also saw another bad tweet while scrolling the timeline, and I wanted to circle back to it because I thought it was pretty funny that Elon's update to Twitter where you can see people's locations is actually coming in really handy and exposing a lot of these engagement baiting blue checkmark accounts that just say whatever in order to start a conversation or to get likes from a specific crowd so they can make an extra few bucks off of Twitter Blue, whatever it is, X Premium. And it's this tweet that says, "Women don't choose bad men. A lot of men pretend to be good initially, and once they gain trust and commitment, they show their real colors." And these two first response tweets pretty much sum up what I was going to say about this tweet, but this is some masterful engagement bait, right? Because obviously it's going to attract all the women that hate men, and they're going to like this tweet, repost it. It's going to go triple platinum with them. But then it's also going to piss enough people off that you get a bunch of replies. It has over 700,000 views now. So let's click on the account of the person who posted this. The bio says, "Feminist, unapologetically woman-centric, advocate for minority rights. Views are personal. Retweets and likes are not endorsements." And then the gay flag and the watermelon, which is basically the Palestine flag. You gotta add a little bit of I support the current thing in there always. So let's check where she's from, and what a surprise, India. Now I know why she really posted this. I guess the Elon bucks from these rage bait posts are going to help pay the rent at the first of the month. Gotta respect the grind. But that's all I had to say about this. Just another Cole post by Jessica Pin, hating on men, definitely not helping any woman, not helping herself either. I just thought I'd add this in towards the end here too, because I think that it's funny that this is the type of person who's trying to give like relationship insights and advice and talk about men so much. Some people were roasting her in the replies, speculating elaborating on why she's single, and this was her response to that. This tweet, which reads, "This was my last boyfriend I was with for 6 months after he approached me without me even signaling in January. I am single now because I have not been dating since the breakup because I have been too sad and confused about it. I have a lot of reasons why relationships are hard for me, which you would know if you paid attention to my story and activism. But if you are a guy who looks a bit like him, has read The Beginning of Infinity, has a background in physics or engineering, ideally comes from a nice two-parent household, is monogamous, has never cheated, and agrees with most of what I say, and has a good argument in every case you do not, hit me up." And what can I say to that other than I'm surprised that this guy lasted 6 months dealing with her. He must be some kind of soldier. I also like the fact that she has this list of requirements and a number of them don't even make logical sense. Like, he has to have read some book, The Beginning of Infinity, and he also has to have a background in physics and engineering, which I'm assuming that people who have a background in those fields are smart, which is probably why this guy left you in 6 months and why guys who are in that field are probably not looking for you. And yeah, the whole monogamy and has never cheated, those are fair asks, but when it comes down to the agreeing with me on most things, what you have to say is just misandrous garbage, man-hating crap that most men are not going to agree with unless they're trying to bend over backwards in order to get a girl because they're just that desperate. Like, you're talking about a guy needing to have good arguments to disagree with your shit takes when like 90% of the people in your comments are ratioing you on every dog shit take that you have. So many people disagree with the things that you have to say for obvious reasons, and a lot of times it's even women in the replies that are disagreeing with you. And if I had to take a wild guess, I don't think that you value any of those opinions as being good arguments against your position. Suffice to say that these types of people are going to continue to be miserable, and for all the guys out there, don't get blackpilled. If what you want is a relationship, you do want to get married, have a family, whatever it is, then keep going for that, socialize, go out to events, focus on your own self-improvement so that you can get to a space where you are confident in yourself, and then go and search for that special person. And don't listen to anybody who's telling you to hate the other gender. Definitely don't start hating on women the way that a lot of these women are hating on men. It's not going to help you if you're trying to be with one, and if you focus on your self-improvement, you'll find yourself in a better position where you're able to accomplish a lot of those goals that you had. And if that's finding love, you can do that. There's a lot of great women out there, and they just don't happen to be the loudest voices on the internet. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you found this video useful, then be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more uploads, and I'll see you guys next time.